Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Q&A at Malmö Film Festival with one of the most brilliant Arab films produced recently and one influential Palestinian movie, which is Meter, directed by Ameen Nayfeh, who's presenting today with us, and with the great producer May Odeh, who's also presenting here with us, and with the actors we have only Motaz Malhes for now, but Ali Sulaiman will join along Mahmud Abo Aita. So it's very nice because I'm very excited for the film. I'm very excited to ask you questions about it, and then of course to open the discussion for people I think who are eagerly to ask you. So I will start with Amin, with the first question. I know it might be repetitive, but I think it's very nice to know how all this journey began. Like, what was the inspiration and how did you work on this project?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Malmö, and to the beautiful audience. This story started with me in 2010 in the writing class in my film school. And the whole background of 200 meters is my personal story, because I kind of have the same story. As half of my family live on the other side of the wall, and since the wall was built, I was separated from them. So this was the motivation that kept me believing that I should tell it. I started writing the first draft in 2013, and May was on board since then. So we have been working together on this project 7 years, 7 years, until it came to life.
That's another 200 meters. Okay, so I'd like another question for Amin. You show like different generations along the film, like there is Mustafa generation, there is Kifah generation, and there are even like the Israeli girl who pretends to be German in order to get to know about the different or the Palestinian. So I see this as a very interesting, because like the journey has many heroes. It has one hero, which is Mustafa, of course, but like the other characters are very interesting. How did you work on creating these like characters?
Thank you. This is a very important note. Actually, you know, like for example, you have the character of Mustafa and Kifah. They are maybe like 20 years, you know, there's a 20 years difference. And you can see in the film there how Mustafa sees the reality, how Mustafa interacts with his life is very different from Kifah, because Kifah, which is also kind of my age, شو يعني كون وعي. My awareness was
created an awareness, yeah.
During the second intifada. We only know, you know, second intifada, the wall, soldiers. This is what we know. So that's, you know, that's it was important to show this different perspective in different generations.
And since we are talking about Kifah, I think Motaz can talk a little bit about how did he like prepare for his role in the film. He seemed very different from like the look he's having now.
Yeah. Hey.
So,
Assalamu alaikum. Well, playing this character is I'm surrounded with this character in the West Bank. All my generation, or actually most of them, they think like Kifah. So it was like, to be honest, it wasn't that hard, like to get into the character, because you know this character. It wasn't like you need to go deep inside. It's like a character you can see from that side. Everything he's doing is like a showing off things, or thing that he believes in it, as he doing a national mission for his country, which is like most of the young people over here, they think this way. So Kifah is a simple guy from this community who wants to do things, crazy things. He wants to sneak with his girlfriend, go to his cousin wedding, film something about it. yeah, like any young guy when he also meets a foreign girl in Ramallah, they like they want to build a bridge between their life in Palestine and outside. So yeah, life, the realistic thing in Ramallah that's going on, or in different cities in the West Bank in Palestine. So honestly, was hard for me like to be in the process as an actor, because it was my first feature. First feature was with the Ameen, and also my first professional short also was with Ameen, was The Crossing, and also with May. She was the producer for both movies. So it was amazing actually to be as an actor with all this amazing cast: Ali Sulaiman, Mahmoud, Nabil Al-Rai, Ghassan, Lana, everybody. That was awesome actually, and working under Ameen wings, that was brilliant. So yeah.
So it looks like a golden team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I go to May, I have to note that if any one of the audience have a question, just type it in the Q&A, and we will make sure that all of our lovely guests answer to it. And then now I go to you, May, because Ameen mentioned that you started this journey 7 years, but 7 years is like a producer. So that's another 7 years. So let's talk about like what difficulties, what made you interested in the project, and how did you manage to like get over all the obstacles that face the making of this brilliant movie?
You see, I colored my white hair from producing. No, I'm just kidding. First of all, I'm really happy to be at Malmö Arab Film Festival. I remember I participated in my documentary diaries in the first edition. So this is a festival that is like also close to me. And also we co-produced 200 meters with the region of Malmö, Film Iskona, with film creatives, with Julia. And actually they kind of saved the film because we did all the post-production and this region. So this is also something I appreciate a lot. And this is how we do films. Yes, the journey was like not 200 years, but 7 years, which kind of the same as 200. But even if it was long, but it was necessary because I guess the film itself got mature. The first time when I met Ameen, he was so excited, and this is what actually I liked about it. He was really fresh and energetic, and he believed in the story, and you can see it in his eyes. And that's actually what fascinates me to start the journey. First, I didn't want to commit to him, and I wanted to see if he's just a young director with a nice story, and I wanted to see if he's serious. So I waited a little bit until I committed, but when we started, it was really a great journey. We got mature, me and him, through the story. And after 7 years, I enjoyed every part of it, even if it was kind of ups and downs and like, good and bad. But at the end of the day, after 7 years and having the film touring all over and discovering new talents like Motaz and a lot of, this is actually what I love about filmmaking and producing in Palestine, because we don't have a film industry. Every step is a discovery. So you discover a team member, you discover an actor, you discover a location, you discover a new story. So everything, all of this gives you a lot of energy to continue, even if the circumstances is really, really hard. It's not easy at all. And I hope Motaz and Ameen forget about it, because it was like really not an easy circumstances, but like to watch, like really, I remember it very well. Watching 200 meters in a big screen the first time in Venice Film Festival, I was really not believing that we did really the film. It was really kind of a dream came true. And I'm so happy for all the team, the cast, the crew, the trust of Ameen, all the partners, especially Metafora, Francesco Milzi, and also our sales agent, our co-producers, because each one of them, they made this film come through.
Okay. So I will get back to Ameen, and we'll ask a question about the casting. I think it's very interesting casting, especially with Ali Sulaiman and the rest of the actors like Motaz, Mahmoud, and even Anna. So talk to me more about how did you imagine like one of them in your head while you are writing, or how did it go?
So yes, actually, I will start with Ali Sulaiman. When I started writing, I researched the actors who are in the age of Mustafa, my main character, and it was we don't have lots of actors, in Palestine. And Ali Sulaiman, he's just so captivating. And it was the first Palestinian film that I watched was Paradise Now, and I fell in love with his character since then. And I was following up with the different roles that he was doing, and I was like, this man is Mustafa. And I was seeing him in every scene, and I was writing for him in my mind. And I think I was very lucky to finally work with him, because he actually, he carried the film, and he got 4 Best Actor award. I'm very happy, because he deserves it. And for the rest of the cast, like Motaz, I worked with Motaz in my short film. And for me also, he was a discovery. So I wanted to work with him again. And Motaz introduced me to Mahmoud. I was looking for a kid who is like, because, again, I say we don't have an industry, so you don't have lots of options. So you have to really dig and try to find your cast. So Motaz sent me like a few videos from the acting school in Jenin, refugee camp. I was like, okay, this guy is interesting. So I went and I met him, and we did an audition, and that was it. He was really like the character. And for example, the German actress, we were looking through agencies, but then I found her through a friend. She's a friend of a friend. And, this is how it worked, more or less, with friends, with connections. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way it gives some freshness to the characters, like getting like new faces also gets you to get more like freshness to the screen and more authenticity, as Mu'taz was talking about. Like he lives this, so this is also makes it easier for the actor to present the acting on the screen. But now, since we are talking about Mustafa character, I have a very personal question about. I'm confused a little bit, because he seems to be very well educated, and then he makes some choices. And sometimes he seems like very revolutionary. I will not get an Israeli passport. I'm not getting this way. I'm working the work I work. And sometimes he, like in the end of the film, he just like gets the things going. He's not reporting what happened or something. He's not making problems just for the sake to make things go. And this confuses me. Like I know, of course, but it's very confusing for me. The choices he took from the beginning might be something I'm missing.
So, for example, to start with the answer, I will talk about the choice for not having the Israeli ID. So, we have 2 million Palestinians who are living on the Israeli side, and they have the Israeli nationality, not by choice, but it was mandatory for them. And through the years, Palestinians were marrying from here and there. And, before the wall was built in 2005, 2004, a lot of people didn't feel the need to get the Israeli ID because life was more easy and you can go back and forth, and there were some controls and some checkpoints, but it was not so racist like today. So, and for many people, they didn't want to carry the ID of their persecutors. And that was Mustafa, you know, he's like, Mustafa is, you know, he might sound like, as you said, like an educated person, but he's also like an average person. That this is how I see him. He's not like a super educated person. And he's not like an illiterate, you know, he's someone who went to school, he has a university degree, but as the situation is here now, most of people who are graduates are working in construction, and like in many Arabic countries, unfortunately. So yeah, that's Mustafa, and the choices on the way that he makes, he wants, you know, he wants to get to his son. This is his only goal. He doesn't want to liberate Palestine. He doesn't want to go into, like, he's not Kifah. This is the difference.
Yeah,
he's not going with shi'arat and, you know, I want to fight for justice. He wants to be with his son, that's it. And this is the core of the story.
yeah, and that's what makes it personal and very relatable, even if someone is not like familiar with the context of the Palestinian issue and the struggle happening there. Okay, so now let's get to I'll see if is there any questions. No, or make a reminder that if anyone needs to ask a question, the Q&A is there. Okay, so let's talk about shooting. I think shooting was very hard to make this film. How many shooting days did you take? And like what the kind of permission, like, did you shoot on the two sides actually, or did you make something with the editing? Or...
I'll tell you something that May told me before we went on shooting. So, you know, we didn't have a big budget. It only allowed us to shoot for 22 days and another day for B-rolls and some shots for the roads. So 22 days. So before and we had 35 locations. So before the shooting, May told me, I mean, look, I want you just to, you know, look at the schedule again and look at the scenes, and maybe, like, look, maybe one or two scenes we will not have time for them. So make your priority. Like, think about two scenes that you might not need. And it happened at the end. There were two scenes that we did not shoot, but fortunately it did not affect the story. And so yeah, it was tough. It was as Motaz remembers very well, it was in August. It was very hot, and we were outside under the sun. Really tough days. I think May and Motaz can tell you more.
Yeah, I'm eager. I'm eager to listen about the journey.
I go. The shooting was so hard because it's the summer, and it was tough. And we are filming in a van, you know, and it's a minivan, and we have like a fully crew. We have like people like the sound man, the light man in the van, even the cameraman, the focus puller, like the whole team. But we tried to make it, to minimize it as much as we can. But it was insane. We used to sweat a lot. I remember Raja in the back, may his soul rest in peace. He passed away. Raja, the son with us, the engineer in there. He was like in the back, like in the baggage, you call it in English, I don't know.
In what?
In the trunk in the back.
Yeah.
The van is not like a trunk of a car, like it's a big size. It's just like, this is the area he have. And that was insane, filming in the mid of the summer. Never again, I mean, please. Let's do it in the winter next time. So yeah, it was hard, but it was funny. It was a lot of fun in there. Like, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, also we were shooting also in the real locations. So we had to be very quick because we have to obtain the safety of the crew and the team. And I remember once we wanted to shoot the checkpoint scene, and we wanted to go to the real checkpoint. So I was passing, there's two cars. I was following the camera car and the cast. So the checkpoint stopped them, and they were like asking about the camera and the cast and everything. The checkpoint means the Israeli checkpoint. And it was very rare to stop them at that checkpoint. So I passed, and then I was really afraid because the camera woman, Amin, Ali, Ashraf Douani, like really the major team is there. And I felt really scared about them. So I stopped and I stepped out of the car, and I wanted to go to discuss with the soldiers what's happening. So the soldiers, I remember very well, the soldiers got scared from me. So suddenly everybody with their guns shooted at pointed at me, and I guess you were shouting, it's like, yeah, this is the producers, something like this, and then we managed to leave. So it was like really a crazy moment. If I think about it today, maybe we will not do it, but this is actually the fun about it. And I guess now Mahmoud is here. Yes.
Mahmoud is.
Yes. He was not late on shooting, but he was.
Yeah. Hello, Mahmoud.
Hello.
So yeah, we were talking about like the difficulties in the shooting, and how did it go, like especially with the shooting. And May was talking about like about how realistic was the shooting. Especially I see like the scene where like in the back of the Volks. I don't know how did you do this, but if you put the three of them into the back of a sedan car, this is very harsh.
Actually, you know, Mahmoud and Motaz, they were really in the moment, you know, but it was intense because it was three men in the van with the cinematographer on top of them, and there were also like some more people around the car, and we had like ventilation, we had an AC every now and then that was working to replace the air. But they both, these guys, they were in the mood and they were breathing as if they were. So after like a few shots, they fainted.
It was really crazy. We were really scared about them, but they actually lived the moment, I would say.
Yeah. You know, we finally took the shot that I was looking for. And I went outside to look at my screen, and then I come back and I find an ambulance. What is happening?
Oh, that's very, very interesting. So let's go to Mahmoud, since he's like our latest joining guest, and ask him about the experience of working with Ameen and 200 meters, and how it was, and how did he prepare for his character also.
محمود، كيف كان الفيلم بالنسبة لك؟
كيف حضرت للشخصية؟
أنا سامع صوتي مرتين في
مي، أو يعني ممكن نعمل ميوت لحد عشان في إيكو تقريبا، وأنا كمان هعمل ميوت.
بالنسبة لي يعني تجربة أولى لي مع أمين في السينما يعني، وكانت تجربة جميلة ومنتظرة بالنسبة لي إني أخذ هيك تجربة. ومن ناحية الشخصية يعني بعرفش ما تغلبتش لأنه أنا هيك يعني، أنا هيك كمحمود، فكان رامي سهل يعني ولا إشي على السريع. يس.
Okay, so I may translate quickly. Like he says it was a very nice experience and he enjoyed it, and for the preparation for the character, he was very like he was doing himself, or like it was like nothing of extra because he lives the character. And now we can get back to Amin and ask about like the visual references of the film. I see the film as like, it's not using like big visuals or something that catches the eye. It's very like minimal on the visual level, but it's also converting from like dark moments conveyed through the gate Mustafa gets through is like a mass of people, and like bright like the dark in the car, in the back of the car, it's very dark, and then the light. So it's very dark and light, and somehow it's creating a rhythm, you know. So how did you think of the visual style of the film?
Yeah, the main image that was with me since writing, and I think that was helping me when I was presenting the film, is the concept of light, because like the main thing, or the main, I think, what the audience will remember the most is the lighting sequence with his kids. So going from darkness to light and communicating with light. And then we have this sequence that you mentioned with the trunk, and again in the tunnel. So there is this, and finally they make it, they cross under the تحت جناح الظلام. Yeah, that's one thing. But also like I was more focused about the like, for example, also like in the van, I didn't want to see what is outside. I was more concerned about like being with Mustafa and what Mustafa is seeing and experiencing. So it was like his story and his perspective. The camera was like always confined with him and what he's experiencing. I was asked many times why we did not see more scenes for the mother and like how her life was on the other side. I don't want the audience to see or to be where Mustafa cannot be, because that's the concept that I was working with. And I can tell you maybe like one visual reference, a film that I was in my mind, which I shared with my cinematographer, was Ajami, because it has this realistic, approach also.
Yeah. It reminded me, the way you build the film like visually and on the dramatic level also reminded me of Asghar Farhadi, where you can find like also a purpose for every character, that he's not complete evil or complete devil, he's just like a normal person with
I'm very happy you're saying that.
yeah, I felt it because like this minimalist style, it just, yeah, it gets me into like, it doesn't get to make like visuals. Even in the end, it makes a great image with him lighting the lights in the heart of the darkness from his home to like his family. But it's also related to the character you have built alongside the whole film, so it's very like coherent. Yeah. Okay, so I may go like to another question to Mai about the distribution, and how did you like distribute the film? I see it's very like gone to Venice Days, it gone to Laguna, and it had multiple awards, and it had an Oscar nomination also. Yeah, so to, and also you know, here like the distribution and also the production, like the financing, and how did you get the money? What was the comments like strange comments you have when you are making a film? I remember a thing that I would like to mention, like I don't know if this is the situation right now, but like when Elias Sulaiman was making like his first film, it was said to him by some people, some French people, like this is not a Palestinian film, because like the Palestinian film gets in your head as like as a struggle, like a very harsh struggling, like not like the real life. I think this has changed in the films, but how was it when you talked like in the development and other platforms?
يعني, as you said, to be honest, Elias Sulaiman and all the Palestinian filmmakers, they actually managed to be like really more important than the politicians themselves, because they made Palestine at all the international maps before the politicians, to be honest. They really, because of the film that they made, or the film that they actually fighted to make. And still, it's not easy to make a film from Palestine and to put the label Palestine on it. The label Palestine on any film that we are making is just a fighting to put it. It's a political also statement, but to be honest, most of the money of the production that we are having for Palestinian films, it's from outside and from small Arabic resources. So for us, it was not easy, especially that we are working with a first-time director. Nobody is kind of like really still thinking that, okay, this the first-time director will make this script. This is actually sometimes like we've seen, we've heard a lot of people said this. So it's a challenge for a first-time director to convince to have this kind of budget and to shoot it, especially that you're actually asking for international co-production. But we managed through a financial strategy to do the short, and the crossing was part of the financing strategy of 200 meters. So we stopped actually financing 200 meters to do the crossing, to approve to many people who have doubts in Ameen's skills to do the feature. And I guess 200 meters is the great answer, and the crossing for sure, about the ability of Ameen as a director. And as I said, that 200 meters managed to bring a lot of talents from the cast, from the team, and for Ameen as a writer director as well. So I'm happy that 200 meters managed to do this. In terms of distribution, yes, in the middle of, we managed to shoot everything in the summer 2019, and in that time we wanted to do the post-production. Everything fell down because of Corona, so we were like really shocked how we can continue, but also we were so lucky and under a crazy circumstances. Ameen was really doing the sound and the color with a Zoom. So the sound designer in Canada, the color correction in Malmö, the DOP in Belgium via Zoom, Ameen in Tulkarem in Palestine. So it was like really crazy setup. But we were so lucky to premiere at Venice. It was really also a crazy journey for Ameen to come to Venice for the premiere, and Ali Sulaiman. And then everything started from there. It was the film find his way. So we were in so many festivals. We were in South Korea, we were in Greece, we were in Spain, Turkey, Italy, China. We were everywhere basically, and in the Arab world also. We managed until now to release the film in Egypt, in Tunisia, in the Emirates as well. And the film is kind of like going from a place to another, and with a great feedback. Now we received 20 awards until now, with a lot of awards for the audience award, and that's really a great something for us, because it's the audience accept the film and relate to it and engage with and believe in it, and this is the important thing. What is unfortunate is until now we couldn't really screen the film in Palestine. We did Jerusalem Arab Film Festival last month, and we got the best film also, but unfortunately we couldn't premiere it in Tulkarem. This was our spirit. We wanted to put it in also Ramallah, in a lot of Palestinian cities, but because of the situation, the health situation, to be honest, we are still waiting. And this is something really, really sad, because we really wanted to make from 200 meters a celebration for everyone who makes the film, from a cast and a team and to Palestinian, because it's the story from them to them as well, you know. And this is what we like. It was overwhelming I couldn't be at the Jerusalem Arab Film Festival, but I had a lot of feedback saying from the Palestinians themselves, and this is the real exam, that yes, this is our story. We saw ourselves in it, but we enjoyed it. And this is really, really something that we want to do. And at the end of the day, we are making films to be seen, and we are happy that to put the film everywhere in terms of TV platforms, festivals, even if it's online. But at least this is the situation, and we have to make the best of it. And I have to really, really thank in this our sales agent True Colors from Italy, and also Film Clinic, Mohamed Hibsi. They really were really a great helper for us to finish the film also. So big salute to them.
Yeah, I would like to ask one last question before I'm empty. It's something that you mentioned, May, and I would like to ask Ameen. Like, you are working on the editing and coloring and sound design via Zoom. I see it's hard enough to make a Q&A like for 30 minutes on Zoom. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to tell us about it, or?
Yeah, it was very frustrating, you know, because like you are, it was my first feature film, and up to this point, like with all my previous films, I was the editor and the sound designer, and I used to do everything. So when I finally am going to work with like real professional people and like in proper studios and you know, mixing rooms, etc., I can't do it. It was heavy. It was very frustrating again, and you know, like even the level of discussion, the creative discussion, is very limiting. Like imagine working on the mix, on the final mix. I was always hearing the mix on my headphone, stereo, and the mix was being done 5.1. Like, how on earth can this work? So when we went to Venice and we had the first screening, it was the first time that me and May, that we watch it on a big screen. And it was the first time for me to hear the mix, like the sound mix. And I was taking notes. I was like, no, this is not working. This we need to change.
Okay. That's I think it's a very beautiful yet very tough journey on all the aspects for the protagonists and for even the film crew itself. But great job. It's a very nice film, and I hope that your film gets screened in Palestine and all over the world in physical screenings where we can meet, and when we hope to meet each other in some real context. And then and hope that you we also meet with new films from all of you, like that's in a better situation. I don't know if this is going to happen, but yeah, I'm very glad that I had this beautiful conversation with you, Ameen, May, Motaz, and Mahmoud. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you have anything to add,
I really
last 5 minutes.
I really enjoyed this discussion, and I'm sure all the team did. It's really crazy to be via Zoom with a distance, everyone in his room, but you managed to have this kind of intimacy in this conversation. Thank you for that, and thank you for Malmö Arab Film Festival to have the film in this conversation. One last thing. Can محمود do you still remember لساك متذكر الفرعون المصري؟
طبعا ولا
لا ختامها مسك، ختامها
صلاح
مع الفرعون المصري.
امبارح جاب جول الفرعون المصري.
على الفاضي.
اوكي.
اللي بيسأل لازم يحضر الفيلم عشان تشوف.
This is saying too late, I think.
I can say that when we screened in Egypt, in El Gouna, no, it was an open air screen. Maybe there were like 1,000 people. It was really like huge. And when his character, when Rami started talking about Muhammad Salah, everybody was like laughing. And Like the Egyptian audience were very happy. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's happened.
Good.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for this entertaining, and I hope we meet again. Yeah, in a better situation. Thank you, and thank you for the audience. So, if you want to add something, Motaz, go ahead. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for getting us. It was such an honor to be in Malmö Arab Festival, and thank you, Muhammad. يعني شكرا كتير. Thank you so much. It was it's still crazy for me being online, but it's
Yeah, we're still trying. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
have a good
So, yeah, you too. Okay.